I didn't go to the conference, so.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Pflugerville. Sometimes I have to get the whole thing in to make sure. This morning, what we're doing during our message is we're hearing from folks in our group, in our spiritual community, about what they got out of a conference that we just attended last week. We spent 3 days up at Unity on the Hill, and in the progress, we had speakers from literally all over. One of the keynote speakers was Joe Vitale, everybody familiar with him? Another keynote speaker was Rev Robert Test, who was the dean of the seminary, Unity Seminary, and has been very, very active in what's called spiritual direction, which is learning how to interact with other human beings to help them live a more spiritual life. And lots of other ideas. We got a good music program. You know, some of you attended music ideas. And frankly, I got quite a bit of knowledge. Now, knowledge is not any good unless it's applied and something comes from it. So I'd like the people in the community to share with us. And my request for them, if they choose to, they're volunteering, is to share with us for a minute or two, what did they get out of the conference? What did they learn? What would they like to bring back? So I'm going to do this voluntarily, okay? And RJ's going to follow us. And we're going to start with Jamie. Okay, so hand her the mic. She can just stand up where she is. You're not going to stand up? You got to stand up.
It's just like going back to school. You get the first, and then it's over, you know. What I got out of the conference was knowledge of my own self. I was able to hear myself saying to myself something I knew I had to do. But you know what? It's just like your mother says to you, you got to do it, but you got to do it because it's good for you. Well, what was good for me was that all the members of this church is my family.
Yes.
And the best investment that I did for myself was to become a member, legal member of this church. And I had not been a member in 22 years of any church. I learned last week that if I follow the recommendations of the members that care and love and guides you without judgment, life is much easier every day when you get up in the morning. Yeah. So you get up in the morning and you say, thank you, God, I'm here for you. And Spirit will guide you. So I learned that I cannot do everything, and I do have to take care of myself first. And stop lying that we don't need enough of this or that. We need each other.
Good.
Yay.
Thank you, Jamie. All right, I'm going to say thank you, Jamie, because one of the things I want to talk about when we wrap up is relationship. The only thing we have, whether you know it or not, when it's all said and done, is the relationships. And the world's changing, and we're going to be needing each other more and more. So it's important that you hear us say, let it go, and become authentic. So, Janie, that's what you just did. Next. Now next.
All right, Neil.
Joe Vitale was the keynote speaker for the event, and what he spoke about was the law of attraction, and that as a person sets an intention, we draw towards us, we attract to us the object of our intention. And so whatever we set as our intentions, it doesn't have to be just one thing, it can be many things. We can attract those things to us. Now, he mentioned that we also have opposing intentions from our unconscious mind, where we tell ourselves, I don't deserve this. You know, like if we're trying to attract money, we say, I don't deserve that. Or if we're trying to get some higher position, I'm not worthy of that. or if we're trying to do something that's to us impossible, that's not possible to do. I couldn't possibly achieve that. So that those are the programs in our unconscious mind that we have to reprogram and tell ourselves that these are possible. And I like to look at the intention from a spiritual standpoint, that we can each become more godlike, more Christ-like, and that is our highest and best intention. And to remind ourselves of that potential, we have the promises of Jesus saying, I will be with you always. If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will come and abide with you. And all the things that we do in preparation for that, the meditation, the spiritual truths, and so forth, draws toward that kind of idea.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say, he mentioned the idea of counterintentions. Counterintentions is what really runs us that we don't understand. And that's why the spiritual path becomes a challenge, if you will. Not everybody's happy on the spiritual path until the spiritual path is matured. So it takes time, so thank you for that. And that's what we're doing. We're all here to clean up. So, who's next? Kat, you're coming up?
I'm coming up.
Okay. Neil, thank you. We got 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, what I got out of this week was create, innovate, and cultivate.
Yes.
That was the theme of the whole conference. It was an inspiring, interesting way of getting to know our fellow brothers and sisters within this region. Of course, there was the dull business meeting and other things like that you have to endure. But it was also very innovative in ways that we got to see the board in action, because we got to see their ideas flowing. We got to learn the amazing things that this region is about to embark on. And we have a new board member as part of that region, which I'm very happy to have him on that avenue of things, because that's kind of like we're on the inside. But it was a very inspiring week. Joe Vitale, of course, as always, was dynamic. He signed one of my free magazines. I said I spared no expense to get this to you. But it was very good, so I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Pat. Wonderful. Yes. Again, what she was alluding to was that I was elected as a Board of Trustees member for the next 3-year term for the region, which is an honor. And I was trying to say no, and Spirit wouldn't allow that. Thank you. Next, Lee. Lee, what?
Thank you. I began this meeting, this conference with the view that the speaker, we engaged Joe Vitale for the keynote speech, would be the high point, and it was to me. There's really nothing he said that I could even begin to disagree with. He opened up new paths, but some of them I've read of him. I had no idea he lived in this region. That came as a total surprise. And one of the things he asked was for each of us to determine to themselves what I plan to get out of this meeting. I had never even thought about it that way, and frankly didn't expect to come up with anything, and I did. And I asked it there in the form of a question. I'm not going to go through it here. It's already on record, and it surprised me that I said what I said. So I'm reserving this last part of my comments for the mission. When we had the celebration and the concert, I told everybody how great they were, and I had been a member of UCO. Well, I told people there, I said I helped build this thing. That's not true. Maybe a few dollars and paint a word or two. But anyway, I've been there for a number of years. I came here because of the closeness of this group and the ability to get to know other people, truly know them, instead of wave at them and maybe call them by their first name. If you look at the tag, that's my feeling, not everybody's, but that. Anyway, the music was was outstanding, but not what we can recreate. I mean, I know that. I'm not trying to make it a model for us. There's one thing about it, though, that I do think we could do, and I talked to Barney, I don't know whether anybody would agree, anybody else, but I think that our opening number should be that joyous. The number that we have is very joyous when, you know, we can do anything. All three of the numbers we're doing today, we've done before, are joyous. But I think we should select one of those three, probably, there may be others, and work it into an upscale, happy opening number.
Okay.
With piano, if we can do that.
Thanks.
Thank you, ladies. A lot to agree with on that one. Okay, who's next, or who's going to volunteer?
Rob?
Yay, here comes Bruce. And then we have Val.
So the highlight for me was also the session with Joe Battalion.
Okay.
What I came away from that was the need to be clear. The tools that he taught for clearing, and the understanding that sometimes it's really hard for me to live intentionally because I've got so much going on in my brain. And you know, and there's lots and lots of history, lots and lots of learnings that, you know, potentially can be unlearned. I really have so many interests in life, but that session was, you know, what is it that I'm here to do? Why did God put me here on this planet? And until I can let go of a lot of different things, you know, false beliefs, fears, then I won't live that intention fully. So I made a commitment during that session to do the work that I need to do to release false beliefs, to release fears, and to get clear on my intention, and to really focus on making that intention happen.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you,
And again, for me, that was the message for almost the whole conference, was that innate, we are expressions of God, and we need to get the junk out of the way to allow that expression to occur. Thank you. Who's next? Stop looking around, it's your turn.
All right. Well, I just wanted to make sure that everybody did get their turn. And so I really enjoyed the conference. I thought it was really good, and it actually brought up a bunch of stuff for me. And I appreciate what everybody, you know, has talked about this morning. I think the sessions that really helped me out were, that I really connected with, was Joe Vitale's session, and then Susan Heinrich, the music director for UCO, did a session, and that was really, really good. I really enjoyed it and really had a good time with it. And then Robert Brummett's comments, and then the other thing that was good, I enjoyed, was, I can't remember what her name was, but we did the improv stuff together, and I really, really enjoyed that. And one of the things that I picked up during one of the exercises was this little statement. It says, "It is safe for me to succeed." And that really touched my heart, because my biggest issue as I move through my life is my fear that I'm not going to succeed. So it's like, and all of that stuff, and this conference really reminded me that all of that stuff is internally generated.
Right.
You know, it's all a story. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Bruce. That's great. What do I do with this?
You want me to say something? Yes, please.
Sure.
Yes. You don't have to stand up, but, you know, we'll let you do whatever you want to do.
I am so, you can stand up.
You can stand up.
This is a surprise.
Thank you.
But I went to the conference, and my head went to the conference. So I go in, and I was there on Tuesday, and wonderful things, and I saw some things, oh, it should be changed, and it was great. The conference was great. And then I went Wednesday, same thing, great. Susan was wonderful. Everything was great. So Thursday I go in, and my head went in, and my heart came out. Because I go in, and it had some beautiful music. The woman was wonderful. And I had an experience. And that's all I can say. And it wasn't a class. It was just sitting there, and I was amongst all these ministers. And it was just beautiful. And that's what this church is. And I got to experience that because I was allowed to go to this conference. And what I want to say is that you guys don't realize what we have here. We have Robert and Madeline, and all the years of experience and all the things they've done. And if you're not going to one of their classes or their tapping, which I've been to before, and let me tell you, that was an amazing experience. If you're not doing that, you are so missing out. Because this is an amazing congregation.
It is.
But you got to stand up, and you got to go. And you got to get uncomfortable. And let me tell you, Thursday was very uncomfortable for me. And this is very uncomfortable for me. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak spontaneously? Go ahead, Barbara back there.
Okay.
Barbara?
Okay, do I have to stand up? This will be very, very, very brief. Okay, very brief, but I did thoroughly enjoy the conference as well. And I truly, the programs were awesome, you know,
Yes.
Joe Vitale and everything else. But I enjoyed sitting around the informal and the breakfast table and talking to various, you know, people from other parts of the region, just on a, you know, personal way, and also in our, what was the get together? Anyway, you know, the first night when we just all were in well, anyway. But I just really enjoyed meeting a lot of different people,
Good.
you know, from the region. Yeah.
Good.
Loved it.
We had a broad spectrum of folks from
My brain.
pretty much all over Texas and all over Colorado specifically. But there were people there from Arkansas and Michigan and other parts of North. New Mexico, yeah, we had some of them too.
We have one more person who would like to say.
Barbara.
Yeah, we can't let one Barbara go without the other one. I guess I felt like a new kid on the block. I'm not brand new to Unity, but I'm brand new to this community. And I want to thank first the church and what was made available so
Yes.
that we could go.
Yeah.
And then there were so many people that helped Barbara and I get to where we needed to go and back and forth, which was important. I thoroughly enjoyed the speakers, the music. I was like a little kid in a candy store. I was just taking it all in and not really, I think more of my heart was there instead of my head. But it was beautiful, and I would love to do it again someday.
Good.
But I thank everybody. I agree with everything everybody else has said. I just can't think of words to say it.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you very much.
Good. By the way, we have another conference next year. Next year, the conference will be at the Unity Village. And those of you who haven't been there, it's a great place to be. Anybody else? John wants to talk.
I didn't go to the conference, could I say something?
Sure.
Yes,
Uh-oh. This is Mr. Reverend John Connor, who is a Unity minister.
And I was delighted to hear so many of you talk about your experience at the conference. I've been to the conferences before and had rich experiences. And it was just great to see so many people that I knew. I first stepped into, wasn't this building, but stepped into this congregation
Yes.
probably April of 2003.
Yeah.
And this is a powerful group of people. And there's some people that are the same, there's some people who are different. But I just want to emphasize the beautiful and powerful spirit that is in this congregation.
Yes.
That it moves and flows. There's been different spiritual leaders, but I love what you're doing with this congregation, and that I think the fact that so many people, such a high percentage of people in the congregation went to the conference is sort of like a sign of a burgeoning, that there's something that's been waiting to come forth, and now bloom, it can come.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay. It was convenient to have the conference in the same town.
Yes.
One more.
One more?
Yeah,
Linda.
I didn't pay
Here,
attention.
Linda, I've got.
It's okay, Linda, 1 minute.
Well, Ken and I had made us, what can I say? It's from the, with the youth.
The
Oh,
YOU,
yeah,
yes.
the youth.
That Ken, she and Ken have a heart for
And-
Unity Youth, so.
Yes, and I love that part of it.
Good.
And I would like to see this be, if we can have more great, kids or
Yep.
teenagers or whatever. And I don't think we concluded with that.
Good.
That it was a wonderful presence. You just feel the energy as you come through our church.
Good. And those are the leaders for tomorrow. And the building down there, we definitely have a YOU group set aside. So we will be part of that conversation. Maybe you can start us. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? We've done quite well. We had pretty much everybody that went to speak. Congratulations. Thank you for getting over your concerns. I'll use that term. Okay. The theme of the conference was pretty much what Kat said, which was, Kat, what did you say? Create, innovate, and transform.
Create, innovate, and cultivate.
Cultivate, okay. And the whole idea of innovation is things are changing. If you haven't kept up with Future or been looked at, there's all kinds of things going on there. There's a group called Future Society. There's a project going on called 2030. A lot of things happening, and people are looking at where we're going to be, let's say by 2030. And there's a lot of fascinating things that are on the possible front. One of those is that life is changing. And it's like medical things are not going to occur so much at the hospital. There's going to be more and more things happening at home because of the internet. If you haven't caught up with self-driving cars yet, you better look into it, because they are saying in 10, 20 years, we are not going to own individual cars. All we're going to do is call up a phone, and a self-driving vehicle will show up on our front door and take us any place we want to go. Those are things that are happening. There's also the idea that as artificial intelligence, if you haven't figured that out, they are programming computers to make decisions now. Okay, now problem is, computers don't connect with spirit. Everybody there?
Right.
So what's going to happen is we have less and less need for the day-to-day issues and the day-to-day work, and we're going to be more involved in relationship. So if you take it from a spiritual context, and this is an important thing to understand. Everybody's out there figuring out what they're going to do. There's people out there marching. There's people out there doing all kinds of things to create change. You hear the word? And the question is, and you heard Neil mention the law of attraction, okay? And the law of attraction says what you think about, you create. So if I'm in conflict and I'm angry, how can I create peace? It's an impossibility. So if we're really going to look for world peace, which is, I believe we are all looking for peace. Because if I can feel peace, and most of us have no idea what that feels like, because we're looking for the experience of peace. I was really focused on what Sue said when she talked about experiences, because we need the experience of peace, happiness, joy, abundance, health, and the only way to develop those feelings is to do it internally. And we're going back to Isaiah 26:3 again. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, which is the secret to peace. So it's not here, it's not in conflict, it's not I believe in this, I believe in that. It is I believe in the Spirit, and I believe the Spirit has the ability to correct whatever needs to be corrected. Now, if you understand disruptive forces, anybody familiar with disruptive forces? And the chaos theory. When things are traveling along and we want to change things, for things to change, it has to be disrupted the way it is. And it has to go into chaos, if you understand the chaos theory. So what is happening in our world today? Is it in chaos?
Yeah.
Yes. So what's the answer? The answer is not in the physical world, because the physical world keeps trying different things and things don't work. If you look at the economic structures of the world histories and look at the structures that have been tried, they all have flaws. And right now we're in a battle within the United States. What kind of economic structure are we going to put together? Well, the answer isn't in the physical world. The answer, in my opinion, is in a spiritual community that loves each other, works with each other, and we are in relationship. And in relationship requires a new language. It requires a language of honesty, integrity. In other words, when I speak, am I speaking from integrity, or am I hiding who I am? And am I being transparent? And am I being vulnerable? Or am I being fake? It's known as competition. Anybody familiar with that? In other words, I have to look good, I have to feel good, and you have to be impressed with my education, my being, the clothes I have on, the kind of car that I drive, and all those things are things that keep us separate, if you understand that. So I'm going way out of this conversation, but that's really what I got out of this conference, was that we are putting together transformative ideas to change where we're going. And if you understand this, we are creating our own future. Folks, it's not out there somebody doing it to us. We are doing our own future. And it's up to us here to understand that and bring together and work together towards something that works. And that, to me, is peace, happiness, abundance, joy, health for all of us, knowing that I and the Father are one. So that's what I got out of the conference. And I really appreciate it. This was a great session. It really was. And I hope all of you realize that we are a community. And that's why I don't like the word church. I like the word spiritual community. So thank you for being part of this community. And I appreciate John sharing that the community is growing. Because you look around at numbers, but numbers are not the idea. The idea of energies is what's important here. And you are transmitting, radiating energies of love and hope. And that has to attract folks to be. Because it's honestly, and I appreciate John, and I appreciate others saying about myself and Madeline, but it's you. Because we are together, we are one, and it's the one that creates the oneness. So thank you. I'm finished.